Hello again, and welcome to Life by the Moment. I'm Lisa. Hopefully you are joining me again and you have seen the previous videos explaining my journey and what's happening now. But if you haven't, I welcome you to look at the previous videos, an introduction to the channel. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about keeping good records. Now, when I started this journey, when my husband and I were planning on hitting the road full time, and we hit those roadblocks that I talked about in the previous videos between taking care of elderly parents and my health issues, I learned some things along the way, and for that I am grateful. I wouldn't want to go through some of the hardships that I've gone through, of course, but they've also taught me a lot of lessons. One big important lesson that it's taught me was when it comes to your health, you need to be your own advocate. You need to keep really good records. You need to keep your ears and your eyes open all the time. I'm going to ask for your forgiveness with my voice tonight. I'm actually just getting over a cold I've had for a couple days, so bear with me, and I hope that you can understand what I'm saying. So, that being said, so on the road to preparation for our journey, when we made the discovery of my health issues and whatnot, I learned very quickly that things get lost in the shuffle. I learned that when doctors say one thing and you discuss something with them, that sometimes they don't have the same translation in the medical notes. We'll just say it like that. So when you go for a test, like you go for blood work or you go for scans or any kind of thing you go for, make sure that you ask for copies of those things right away. A lot of times, if they're not too busy, they might be able to send them out to you then and there, make a copy, burn a disc or whatnot. But sometimes, excuse me, I'm sorry. Sometimes it might take a few days or a week or so to get those things in order, and they want to have the doctors look over the things first. Sometimes you have to sign permission for them to release the records to you. And on rare occasions, they'll mail things to you. But I know lately, from my experience, they want you to be in person. They want to check your ID and make sure that it's you. So, but you have to keep good records. You have to get copies of everything. You even should, if you are one of those people that has the healthcare apps that are becoming very popular now, you need to even make sure you look at the conversations that you have in those apps and make sure everything is verbatim what you were trying to get across with the doctors and whatnot. Because I've come into situations where even on blood tests where I would get a call and they would tell me one thing, and then I would look at my notes and it was not the same. I've even had doctors and things tell me what certain results were and then gone to a specialist. And in the meantime, I had done my own research and found out the things that they said were not accurate, and I actually had the correct info. So you need to back up everything. You also need to be, like I said, be the advocate for yourself. If they're not listening to you, speak louder. I don't mean to yell at them. I just mean to be persistent. Do your research. I don't mean Google doctor. Just do your due diligence and make sure that you write down any symptoms of anything that's happening with you, anything new that's going on, and things that you should check with, like age-related. There's age-related tests and things that you should get done. But in doing this over this last year and keeping records, it's also reminded me of things. I have a notebook and I have copies of all my paperwork, and I have all the discs from different tests and things. So I can look back and say, last year, this is what this result said, and this year it's different, or it's the same, or it's good, or it's better. The other reason this is so important, especially if you're interested in doing something like my husband and I would like to full-time travel, the reason this is so important is you will have these records to go forward. You will have physical copies to look at, and doctor's notes and things. I actually have notes from my doctor, um, with, his personal signature and things, so that if I'm out and about, I can share this. If something is to happen and I need to go see a doctor or something, they will have my medical records. Because sometimes, even though we're in the digital age, not everything translates from one place to another. You might be in one state and travel far to another state, and they won't have your records. I apologize again, struggling here. Drink plenty of water. So do your due diligence, keep good records for your medical, and just be on top of things. Call them when you need to call them. Um, keep reminders in your phone and things like that. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I'm not an expert on insurance and things like that. So you'll have to do your own research and see what you're eligible for. But I can't emphasize enough the importance of this, because maybe if I had known better and kept better records and been more persistent, and I would have maybe found out things a little bit sooner. I just trusted my doctor. I just went along and trusted what my doctor said, and I I didn't do anything. I figured my doctor knows best. But it's been quite a journey this last couple of years, in learning that, yes, the doctors go to medical school and they know things about the body and science that I might not know, but they also don't live in my house and see me every day, and they don't know the things that affect me on a daily basis. So you need to just make sure that they have all of the info, so that they can look at the whole picture and help to diagnose you properly. So I am grateful for those lessons, and I'm grateful that I did learn to be diligent and be an advocate. I'm actually not a very outgoing person. I'm pretty reserved. I wouldn't say that I'm antisocial or anything, but it takes me a little while to, get to know people and warm up with them. And I can be intimidated by somebody at times, like, a doctor. Who am I to tell the doctor, right? But I've gotten my voice. I've gotten my voice with doctors and things, and now I know to speak up if something is not right, or to speak up if I am feeling a certain way, or I feel like they're not addressing my needs. This is going to be, I think, really important going forward in anything that we do in life. You have to be kind of bold. We don't have to be rude, but we need to make people listen to our concerns so that we don't fall into issues. So that's pretty much my message for today. I know that it wasn't a very exciting message, but it is life by the moment. I think that these things are important in our everyday, addressing our health and well-being, and learning every day how to better ourselves. And this is one way I'm bettering myself, learning how to stand up for myself and advocate and be a better record keeper. These things are very important. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had any issues where you just felt intimidated and you just listened and you were afraid. You know, we all are afraid sometimes and afraid to speak up. Sometimes it takes something huge to make you realize these things, that you need to speak up for yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you. It's not somebody else's responsibility. So I hope that this has given you something to think about, and maybe you learn something, or maybe you have some suggestion for me going forward. I'd love to hear in the comments if this helped you, or if you have something to offer. If you haven't watched the previous videos, watch those too. It'll explain more what this channel is going forward and what it is about. And hopefully I'll have some more exciting adventure videos for you. I did tell you that we have other footage that has not been edited, but I did put up a little short, so a little sneak peek. And hopefully I'll have something more adventurous coming soon with all the fall activities. So stay tuned and be blessed.